After finishing the insertion sort, let us move to the next kind of array. So till now what we have come across, that is searching, sorting and insertion and deletion, all are dependent on the single dimensional array that we have discussed. Now let us move to the two dimensional array and its characteristics. In the first PUC you have already learned, a two dimensional array is an array with the two subscripts, or where each element is going to be accessed by two subscripts or a pair of indices. So here also we are going to define what is two dimensional array, and we will move forward with how the two dimensional array is been represented into the memory and how to use it. So a two dimensional array is a collection of elements, and each element is going to be identified by a pair of indices, and that index or indices is called as the subscript or subscripts if it is multiple. So in the two dimensional array we will have two subscripts, so we'll say pair of indices which are represented in the square bracket, we will call it as a subscript. So a two dimensional array can be considered as a table, so it is going to represent the data in a tabular format. So as you know, the table consists of rows and columns. So each element in the two dimensional array is referred by or with the help of two indices. So each element, when I want to access, you need to access by the name of its row and by the name of its column. So without using the name or the number of rows and columns, you cannot access to the elements of two dimensional array. So one dimensional array indicates row, that is one index with the first subscript going to represent or indicate row. The second index is going to represent the column. So first, whatever the subscript is denoting, it is denoting the row, and the second index it is going to denote the column. So row position and the column position, first the row position, then the column position is given by two indices. Now here is the syntax for declaring a two dimensional array with an example and the representation of data in a tabular format. Just like a single dimensional array, the two dimensional array is also declared with a little changes. You have data type, array name, row size and the column size. So as I told you on the previous slide, the first subscript, that is a square bracket, what you see is going to represent the row, and the second subscript that you have is going to represent the column. So here in the declaration syntax, the first subscript represents the total number of rows that we have. The second subscript denotes the total number of columns we have. So the declaration ends with a semicolon. Example, suppose if I have an array consisting of 4 rows and 3 columns, and the data type of the array, two dimensional array, is double, so then I would declare the array like this: double x, x is the name of the array, 4 is the number of rows and 3 is the number of columns that we have. Not elements that are declared and initialized. If I have taken another example where the elements are of integer type but the size is 4 and 3, then the memory representation or the array will be arranged in a tabular or table format like this, where this 0, 1, 2, 3 represents the row in this order, where this 0, 1, 2 represents the column. So columns are arranged in this format and rows are arranged in this format. So each element is stored with the index. Now suppose if I want to access to the very first element, that is 12, then I will be taking the name of the array x of 0 and 0. That means x of 0 and 0 I will be writing. Then I will be referring to this element. So first we will refer to the row and then we will refer to the column value. Now can you tell me how do I refer to 6 in this example? I will refer to x of 2 and 1, x of 2 and 1 like this. Now how do I refer to 62? The 62 can be referred by x of 3 and 2. So that is row value first, then the column value next will refer to the 62. So this is how the two-dimensional arrays are being stored in a tabular format. Now let us move to the representation of two-dimensional arrays in the memory. Because each and every data item that we need to use in the program need to get allocated with the memory space. Allocation is nothing but providing the memory space for the array. So for the two-dimensional array also, the memory need to be given, and there are two ways by which the arrays in two-dimensional can be stored. The first one is the row major order method. The second one is the column major order method. So now let us catch up how the row major and column major methods or order is going to differ from one and another. First, let us see what is row major. Considering an array A which is of the order m cross n, m indicates number of rows and n indicates number of columns. So many of you have studied matrices in your schooling. So matrix is a rectangular or square arrangement of elements with an order m cross n, where m indicates number of rows and n indicates number of columns. So discussing about row major order, in the row major order, first all the first row elements are stored in a sequential memory, that is one after another, and then the second row elements are being stored one after other, and so on. Now talking about this, all the first row elements first in sequential order location, and all second row elements stored in the sequential location order, third row, then fourth row, then fifth row, n number of rows and columns can be there. So understanding this, how all the first row elements are stored sequentially in the memory and second row elements are stored in the memory, let us look to the example. Now in this example, you see the elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in this, what will happen is the elements in the row major order will be represented as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That means all the first row value, next all second row value, next all third row value are stored sequentially, that is one after another. So this is the very best example you can consider. Considering another example, you have a matrix of 3 cross 3, that is 3 rows and 3 columns. So the values are 2, minus 2, 3, 1, 0, minus 3, 2, 2, 5 are the elements, and the name of the array is A. So then all the first row values need to be stored, then it is 2, minus 2, 3, that you can see in this order. Then 1, 0, minus 3 is stored here, 1, 0, minus 3, and then comes 2, 2, 5, 2, 2, 5. They are stored in order, sequential. See the memory location. Because integer is going to occupy 2 bytes of memory space, each element will occupy 2 bytes. So if the starting address is 200, this is the address where the element is stored. The next element will be stored at 202, the next element 204, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Like this, these are stored in a sequential order, just like we have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are stored in a sequential order. Now we can represent in the form of column, we can represent in the form of row. When writing it, it doesn't make any difference. But the elements of the first row need to be represented first, then the second row, okay, then the third row. That is what we have shown in the diagram here. The first row is indicating the element A of 0 and 1. Next, A of 0 and 0, first value, this is the element. Then A of 0 and 1, that you can see over here. A of 0 and 2, this is okay. Then see here, the row value is constant and the column value is changing, 0, 1, 2. Here also you see 1, 1, 1 is remaining constant, that is row value is remaining constant, column value is changing, 0, 1, 2. Next here 2, 2, 2 remaining same and the column value is changing, 0, 1, 2. So like this, the elements are represented in the form of rows and columns. So in the row measure order, all the elements of the row are represented first and then the column. So this was a question asked in different years, okay, approximately 2 to 3 times it was been asked for 3 marks and 5 marks respectively. So you need to write what it is, okay, the basic definition, and then you can draw this and represent in the memory. That will fetch you 3 marks. So going to the next one, that is column measure order. So here also we are considering an array A with an order m cross n. The difference between the row measure and the column measure is, in the column measure, all the first column elements are stored. In the row measure, all the first row elements are stored. So they are stored in a sequential order, one after another. Taking the same example, we have see 1, 4, 7 are column measure, whereas when you consider 1, 2, 3 are in row measure order. Row measure will go like this, in column measure will come like this. Okay, so the elements will be 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8, 3, 6, 7. Whereas in row measure, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So because we are working on the column measure order, we have taken in this fashion. Taking the same example, how can we represent this? An array of order 3 cross 3 into the column measure order. See, 2, 1, 2, minus 2, 0, 2, 3, minus 3, 5 will be the column measure for you. The memory is allocated sequentially, there will be no change. Now what is the change over here is, now this time the column will be kept constant, that is 0, 0, 0, column will be kept constant, 1, 1, 1, 1, column will be kept constant, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, column will be kept constant, and the row value will be changing. So it will be representing 2, that is 0 and 0 over here. It will be representing 1, 1 and 0, you see 1 and 0. It will be representing 2, that is representing 2 and 0. So here column value, which is the second subscript, will be kept constant and the row value will be changing. Going back, you see the example over here. In the row measure, row value is kept constant, column value is changing. Okay, that's the difference between the row measure and the column measure. Next value is, column value is 1, 1, 1, row value is changing, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so you can fetch it like this also, minus 3, where it is minus 3, yes, 1 and 2. So you see 1 and 2, like this referring. I have taught you already in the introduction. So this is how first column elements, second column elements, and third column elements you need to write it. Okay, you have to write and practice this so that you get, okay, with the perfection. So you can do it now only by pausing the video. So that's how we represent a row measure and the column measure. So in the next class, we'll be moving to the formula, that is how the position and the address is being calculated by taking the position of the element how the address of a particular element in the two-dimensional array will be calculated by using the row major formula and the column major formula. Then we'll move to the another kind of a data structure that is called as the stacks. Okay, thank you.